All right, everybody. Welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, Episode 17, aka our 128th show. Andy, thank you for welcoming back after 2 weeks. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
we were going to have a podcast after being gone for 2 weeks, but it's nice to be back.
Hey, I'm glad. I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back because I know we've been gone for. It feels like now 3 weeks. Maybe it's only been two, but it's felt like a long little break, which I have appreciated. We've definitely found time and actually found time to enjoy soccer again, Paul.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear how you have been coming back into seeing everything that Barcelona is doing.
Yeah. And I've been following Manchester United, and I'm excited to hear it from you, too. I think this will be a first since I think like 2 or 3 years ago, probably, based on kind of where our teams are at.
It's definitely been the best I've felt about the teams since 2 or 3 years. Honestly, since Ali's been around. But hey,
Yeah.
we'll get to that when we get to that. But we have an order and we stick by that order. And the first order of business is the team that's playing in your background.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was actually, both of our teams had our rivalry matchups. It was El Clasico for Spain in the Supercopa final. And Andy, with being in Mexico, I didn't get to watch games live, just like being with people and whatnot. So unfortunately, I did see the result
Yeah,
before I watched the
which
game,
is
but I
good.
watched the full game. I am so glad I saw the result beforehand. Barcelona
Yeah.
ended up winning 3-2 in an absolute thriller. But let me go over the times of these goals. So Barcelona scores in the 36th minute to go up 1-0. Vinicius Jr. scores in the 45 plus 2 minutes, so like the 47th minute, 2 minutes into stoppage time in the first half for 1-1.
Hmm.
Lewandowski scores 4 minutes into stoppage time and at the end of the first half for 2-1. And then
Hmm.
Gonzalo Garcia scores 6 minutes into stoppage time at the end of the first half for 2-2
Two
going into
goals in
halftime.
2 goals in stoppage time
No,
is
three. It was three
crazy.
goals in
Oh, it's
stoppage
three because
time.
Vinicius. Oh
Yes.
golly, man, shows you how much I can remember and listen to. But holy cow, wow, that's
Yeah.
insane.
It was back and forth and back and forth. And then Rafinha scored again in the 73rd minute to give Barcelona the win. But Frankie de Jong got a red card in the 1 minute into stoppage time in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, Real Madrid had two clear chances. They should have scored on both of them. And luckily, they hit them both at Joan Garcia, and he saved them. But like a guy had a shot from like just outside the 6-yard box on his left foot, and just like
Mm-hmm.
it was super fluffed his lines, just kicked it with no strength right at Joan Garcia.
Wow.
And then at another point, Real Madrid had a free header where like
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was a free header and hit it literally anywhere
Yeah.
away from the goalie, and it's a goal. Hit it right at the keeper. Like
Wow.
I was just like, man, I'm so glad I knew this result because the end of the first half and the end of the game might have killed me. I don't know.
Yeah. Your
Um,
heart might have exploded from that.
yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
yeah, it was just crazy. But I thought the De Jong straight red was questionable. Was his tackle a little high? Yeah, I don't think it was malicious, and I don't think he caught Mbappe super hard. So I thought it was harsh. Neutral fan would probably say it was a
Mhm.
straight red. Um, but yeah, I here's the thing, Andy. So a lot has happened with Real Madrid since we last talked. There's
Mhm.
been, I don't know if you've seen this, there's been this whole fight between Vinicius Jr. and Xabi Alonso. He was taken off in the first El Clasico of the season. It drew headlines because Vinicius basically threw a tantrum and walked off the field.
Yeah.
Um, and he did the same thing in this game. But Vinicius Jr., I think this has been his best game the entire season. I think he looked really good. Mbappe had a knee issue and didn't start the game. So Xabi Alonso was trying to find a way to get Mbappe into the game, and he sacrificed Vinicius Jr. to do it. I don't know if that was the right call. Based on where they were in the game, they were only down a goal. Vinicius Jr. was looking great. He was looking dangerous, but he decides to pull him off. Real Madrid don't get the goal, and I think that decision probably got Xabi Alonso fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which, like, I don't agree with, because I think the players are the issue. But I think, is it Florentino Perez who's the manager of Real Madrid? I always get him and Javier Tebas mixed up. No, Javier Tebas is the president of La Liga. They just work so closely together. I think that
Yeah,
they're both the president of Real
right.
Madrid.
And
So
I'm sure Florentino Perez thinks he's the president of La Liga
yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%, 100%. So Perez, I think, was put in a very tough situation because Vinicius told him, "I will not re-sign for Real Madrid if Xabi Alonso stays as the manager."
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
they're basically like players over there are throwing tantrums. Like they're just
yeah.
throwing tantrums. And
And they
I
get
think
and
that's
they're
why
getting away
Xabi
with it.
Alonso got fired, which I think is a huge issue because I think he was holding players accountable. He wasn't letting players go out and party. He was playing
Hmm.
players who were playing well, just not just stars because they're stars, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what Real Madrid needs. But guess what? Real Madrid lost. And then guess what happened to? I'll wait for that. I'll wait for that till we get to La Liga. I got to stay with Barcelona.
Hmm.
We got to stay on the script here. So,
For sure.
Barcelona wins El Clasico. They win the Supercopa final, first trophy chance this season. And man, I think if Barcelona makes a final, put all your money on them. Hansi Flick is fifth. I think either 15 for 15 or 16 for 16 in finals. He has never
Yeah,
lost
he
a
gets it
final.
done. Wow.
Yeah,
It's just getting
as a
there.
manager.
Once he gets to the final, seems like that's his problem. But once he gets there, he's locked in for getting that win.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good
Yep.
to hear. That's got to feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Supercopa final, and then Barcelona played Racing Santander in the Copa del Rey round of 16. And Barcelona ended up winning 2-0, Andy, but it was very tight. It was tight throughout the entirety of the game. Ferran Torres ended up getting a nice goal halfway through the second half, and then Santander had a chance to tie it in the 90 plus fourth minute, where it's basically 2-on-none. Joan Garcia stands tall. The attacker should have passed to his teammate and he would have been, had a free shot on goal, but he decided to shoot. Joan Garcia saves it, and then on the next passage of play, Barcelona gets the ball back and Lamine scores in the 90 plus fifth minute.
Yeah.
So
that was their moment. If they were going to upset, that was their moment. So yeah,
yep.
Way to get out of jail for that.
It was really a tough game. Racing Santander is the top team in the second tier right now. They are definitely going to be going up this next season. I think they had this game circled on their calendar for a long time, kind of anticipating playing Barcelona in this round of the Copa del Rey. So they definitely
That's
played
always
well.
the big one. Yeah, it's always bigger for them. It's always bigger for any other team to go up against a big giant. So,
the thing I like about the Copa del Rey too, I don't know if England does this, but the lower seeded team always gets to host.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
I want to say that happens. I want to say that's maybe more in the League Cup than in the FA Cup.
Okay.
I think it's just by draw. I think they just, depending on their seed, you get a draw, and it goes from there. But anyway.
Yeah. So that's what I really like. So it I think it makes it more fair, and it makes it tough for top teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid because they're basically always going to be on the road in these games. So, but hats off to them. They played a great game. And I think they should be extremely proud of their effort for sure. But I think Barcelona had a little bit of a hangover, and I think that hangover continued. So we lost to Real Sociedad in the league 2-1. The offense was just lackluster. And there were, I think, plenty of questionable calls you could go with for, VAR. There was one where Lamine Yamal is literally in line with the last defender. And when you look at the semi-automated, like there's nothing, I can't see a single thing of his that is past the line, but they called it offside. Jeez. Like it's literally directly in line. So, you could argue that. Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs on this one because I'm blaming Barcelona's offense. And early in the game, Pedri missed a chance where he got a ball played back to him and he hit it straight at the keeper. Keeper saves it to him and he has a chance for a header to put it, it's from pretty far out, but he can basically head it anywhere and it's going to go in the goal, and he heads it over the goal. Not his strong suit, but that was a chance, 100%.
He's got to get it on target. He's just got to get it on target.
Yep. Lewandowski did the same thing, where he hits it straight at the keeper. Danny Olmo missed 4 or 5 chances, by himself. One of them was a great save by the keeper, but other than that, he missed a ton of chances. Koundé didn't capitalize on a header where he was free and he hit it hard. He hit it well. It just hit the bottom of the crossbar and didn't go in. But he hits it anywhere, again, a goal. Taking all these chances, I'm not going to say everyone should have gone in, but if you take these chances, Barcelona should have scored 3 more goals. If you take all those chances combined to 7-8 chances that were really good,
yeah. If you think,
Barcelona
if you
should
do a
win that game
conversion,
4-2. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to blame the refs. I think a lot of the players, I think Hansi Flick even complained about it, asking for the league to review the VAR footage and whatnot. And I'm just like, if that was our only chance and we played hard and weren't able to create a lot of chances because Real Sociedad played a great defensive game, then I might be more upset. But that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Barcelona played great offense, just couldn't convert.
Yeah. It sounds like it's
take
frustration.
care of your own business.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It sounds a lot like frustration, where I'll notice that of a team getting hung up or a manager gets hung up on a call. And it's more just like, I think obviously it's just out of frustration, right? Like they're taking it out on the frustrating fact that their team has been able to convert chances that their team hasn't been able to convert. Because like you'd said, any other day, those are going in, or on other days, half chances end up going in.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of coming from there. I guess, do you think it's with that lack of converting chances, do you think just like a hangover aspect where just a lot of games recently and then like
I
think
it's hangover. I think it's hangover.
Okay.
I'll go over this in this the last game here, but I think it's hangover from the Supercopa final. I think in these last 3 games Barcelona has played, or 4 games or whatever it's been since the Supercopa, they have not looked like their dominant selves. I think they're still kind of getting over that, and I think they got to wake up. But I'll get to that here.
Okay.
Another thing that I will say, VAR inconsistencies are very frustrating because Barcelona scored a goal in the first half where Fermin hits a beautiful shot. In the run of play, Dani Olmo kind of goes through the Real Sociedad player's foot to kind of get the ball, where it's kind of like, here's the foot, and he kind of goes through it here, like not like excessive contact, but he's going for the ball. It's kind of like in basketball when you're going for a block and you kind of hit the player's hand, which like in basketball it's not a foul, but in soccer it usually is.
Yeah.
The referee's looking like he's 5 feet away from it, 10 feet away from it. He sees it, calls no foul on the field. Barcelona go on to score in the run of play. VAR calls it back, and the referee calls it a foul. So no goal. This is the exact same thing that happened to Barcelona against Inter Milan in the second leg semifinals Champions League last year.
Yeah.
Where no foul is called. I don't remember who it was from Inter Milan, but he hits Gerard Martin's foot on the way through to the ball. The same exact thing.
Yeah.
No call on the field, but VAR doesn't review it, and the referee doesn't go to take a look at it. So, it's got to be consistent. If you're going to say in the run of play, the referee on the field does not see it, doesn't call it, that's a referee decision, fine, but it's got to be consistent across all games, all leagues, all plays that are of that similar nature.
Yeah, I think, especially those kind of run of play calls, those are the things that definitely drive me the most insane, because where do you say that, the play started? Right. Obviously people are saying, well, it's your possession, but I think you can end up going back pretty far back to see.
Yep.
And because I remember this happened to United one game, I want to say it was in 2021, where there was a goal, but I guess Paul Pogba had fouled a player in the build-up.
Yep.
But it was like 3 or 4 passes after the actual foul, and that we got the goal. And it's like the play had already like passed by there. So like, how far back are you going to go to a foul when that happens?
Yeah.
Like, so that's where the consistency part is. Like, it's so aggravating because like that's not cut and dry. So if it's not cut and dry, just leave it be, and just leave it be something that the referee on the ground controls, and just let it go. That's my kind of thought with it. Just like let it play.
Yep. Yeah. So, like, last thing with this game against Real Sociedad, it's again, fans are blaming reffing and VAR decisions, but Barcelona on the defensive side gave up their second goal to Real Sociedad literally 30 seconds after scoring. Like, You just can't do that. And then
No.
secondly, Real Sociedad got, it was either a second yellow or a straight red, I don't remember. Towards the end of the game, Barcelona had 12 minutes, Andy, of 11v10 and couldn't generate anything. So
Jeez. Yeah.
you want an opportunities, you got to generate them and you got to take them. Like, it was so frustrating to watch. It was just so disappointing.
Yeah. It sounds like that. I guess, like, how concerned are you about, like, this, like, stutter step?
I'm concerned because I've seen it consistently over several games. And I'll kind of get to a little bit more to why coming up in these next two games. But that's concerning to me because it wasn't just this game against Real Sociedad. It's been pretty consistent. And Real Sociedad's a top, I think, 5 or 6 team in La Liga.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing stiff competition coming up. This is the time of the season where we got to turn up. We can't be stumbling right now. So
Yeah.
I definitely am a little bit concerned about that. Moving on to the Champions League game, second to last Champions League game of the group stage, we played Slavia Praha. I'm going to say Barcelona ended up slipping past Slavia Praha, even though it was 4-2. We were lazy in the first. We ended up giving up a late goal 2-2 at the end of the first half. We gave up 2 goals on the same corner kick play twice. Ball to the front post, ball's flicked on, and then the ball ends up, like, somebody else hits it and ends up in the back of the net. Same play. It's like, if you get fooled on it once, okay, you get fooled on it once. But when you see a corner again, you guard the thing that gave up a goal the last time.
Oh yeah.
You know?
For sure. Like, everyone should know, like, that playbook right away. So, like, to have that go 2 times in a row is just kind of, I don't know, it's diabolical, I would say. Like, how can you let the same thing happen twice? Like, it's just it's idiotic. Yeah.
Exactly. So, luckily Fermin saved Barca with 2 really good goals in the first half. It went from bad to worse. Pedri pulled his hamstring in the second half. He's out for a month now. Just it sucks, man. And honestly, I told Z this after watching the game. I was concerned for him because he didn't look like himself up until the point where he pulled his hamstring. He was losing the ball more than he normally does. He had some bad passes. Defensive covering wasn't as good. I was like, what's going on with Pedri? And then he pulled his hamstring and I was like, oh, he must have been playing with some sort of minor thing going on that just got worse. It also didn't help that it was cold and raining in that game.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Because that's just, that's prone to injury there.
Yeah.
No.
So
that's heartbreaking because now experiencing that, I'll get to that when we talk United. Experiencing that really sucks, especially if you're going through that dip where at least you're thinking, okay, a couple of your players can get back into form and find it. With him going down, that's concern. That is concerning. That's a 100%. Big concern.
100%. So I will say Dani Olmo hit a really nice shot, top bins from the top of the box. That ended up being the game-winning goal. Rashford came on as a sub. He made a great run. Ball got played through to him, I think, from Balde to him, and he squared a really nice ball to Lewandowski for the 4th goal.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just... even though it was 4-2, it's one of those games where you're like, man, a couple things go their way, a couple things don't go our way. We could have had a draw or a loss. You know, the score wasn't a huge indication of what actually happened. So
it's always concerning when the results are better than the performances. Yeah, that gets there.
Yeah, 100%. So, and then in the last game, Barcelona, this is a funny one. Barcelona ended up oozing past Oviedo 3-0. And it's very much an oozing because even though it was 3-0, like, Oviedo had chances. It was 0-0 at the end of the first half. It was good goals from Rafinha and Olmo in the second half, but they were off of Oviedo mistakes, Basically, Oviedo played with the ball too much, turned the ball over in their own end, and Barcelona capitalized on it twice. So I will say Lamine Yamal's goal, which was the 3rd goal, cross played into him. He, scissor kick, beautiful shot from like the closer to like the top right portion of the box, and he hit it bottom left corner of the goal.
Wow.
It was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Insane.
So
insane.
But even though it was 3-0, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. So Barcelona ended up signing Joao Cancelo in the January transfer window. Played for Barcelona under Xavi, left to go to Saudi Arabia. Barcelona looking for, I mentioned this in the last podcast, we were looking for that replacement right back or center back, and he was the one that we got. I'm concerned about him defensively. He's very good
Oh no.
offensively. He gets
Okay.
forward well, but when the ball turns over, he doesn't sprint back. He jogs, and I'm like, bro, like in this system, you got to get your butt back because we commit numbers forward, and we got to get back behind the ball and cover for people. I hope Hansi sees, and I'm sure he will. He will see it in the film after the game and talk to him and be like, look, we signed you for a reason because we need coverage. But if you're going to play for this team, you got to run.
Yeah.
Like you got to run. So
Yeah.
he was just, not good in one-on-one defending. He was really only showing effort in attack. And I really think it's not going to fly with Hansi. Like he notices that sort of stuff, and it's just not good enough for this team.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I think especially now where like there's chances being like found in Barcelona's defense. You bring in Joao Cancelo, he needs to be able, or at least be the one to kind of solidify that at the back. If he's not doing that, that's a big problem, because who are you going to go to then to stop those chances? You brought the person in that you had been wanting to shore up your defense going into this part of the season. So hopefully it's just like an adjustment to like the speed of the league.
Yeah,
maybe that's it. But yeah, he'll have to turn it on quick. So
for sure. Yeah. And honestly, I think Casado needs to step up, or it's going to have to be Marc Bernal or somebody with Pedri being out. I didn't think he had a great game. He looked a step slow against Oviedo, which Oviedo is by far and away the worst team in La Liga. So the fact that you're not looking good against the worst team, it does not bode well. So we're going to see. When Pedri went out earlier in the first half of the season, Frankie de Jong definitely stepped up, but against, I think the most glaring game was the 3-0 defeat against Chelsea. We were missing Pedri really badly. So we got a lot of big games coming up here in the next few weeks. So it's batten down the hatches and hold on for dear life. Someone's going to have to step up.
Yeah. And it might be like, it might have to change a little bit of how you play. Like it might not be as expansive. There might be a couple more 1-0 wins potentially. It might come to that. Have you seen
our high line?
Oh no, but I guess that's why Hansi's paid the big bucks. Is like, how do you deal with that when you're losing your players there? So do you just go more offensively and just be like, okay, I'll win a game 4-3, I'll take that bet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Dani Olmo and Firmino have been playing so well. It might be one of those things where you have to play one of them with Frankie in a more recessed role, and kind of shuffle them on who goes forward and who goes back. That's an option. I think this is the part of the season where we really miss Gavi in that midfield, because Gavi's a guy that you can just plug in and he's gonna hunt. He's gonna hunt guys down. He's an effort guy, but who has the skill where he can still pass and create chances and score. Whereas I think Casado is he's like a bargain rate Gavi, where like he's gonna work his butt off, and I really appreciate that about him. But when he's not on, he's a step slow. He's missing passes, out of position at times. It's just like, man, I just really wish we had Gavi back. But, we can't hang our hats on hopes and prayers. We got to step up and we got to play. And that's kind of Hansi's mentality. It's kind of like the Dan Campbell is, we got the guys we got to step up and play.
Yeah. Just it's next man up. So to use Dan Campbell's terminology, but yeah.
So a lot of games, Andy. A lot of going on with Barcelona. I don't want to take up all of our time, so I'm really interested to hear about Manchester United, especially the good run of form that I've seen recently from them.
Hey, I mean, it's fun to finally enjoy playing It's fun to enjoy playing football again. I don't want to be that guy that said I could see this happening. Or sorry, not playing football. Sorry, it's watching football again. I got it mixed up with me playing on my Wednesday morning leagues. Not a league, but just my Wednesday morning pickups. But yeah, I think it's nice to see. I could almost see this happening, because again, with Carrick coming in, there was a bit of history already with
Speaking of
him going
which,
there.
I want to hear, because we talked about Ruben Amorim getting sacked, but since we last talked, we didn't know who was going to come in.
Yeah,
So just like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, give me
sure.
your Reader's Digest version of Carrick coming in and your impressions and kind of expectations and thoughts.
Yeah, so since then it was initially Darren Fletcher, who I think was U18 coach. He came in, he managed 2 games. I think it was one. I think both of them were a draw and a loss, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, draw and a loss because we lost in the FA Cup. So we have no tournament games to play for, no trophies to play for this year. So then it came down to Ollie and Carrick as the 2 front runners. Both had managed United before. Carrick had managed as a caretaker when Ollie had left,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess this is something my friend told me. I hadn't read this and I hadn't parsed it out, but I guess the reason why Ollie was not going to get it was because he had asked about, almost seemingly about a guarantee of then managing United if he did well, if he achieved expectations, which personally, I probably would have said, yes, you get us
Yeah.
top 4. We have nothing less to play for. The only thing you could do is make sure you get top 4.
Yep.
They didn't do that. Then they went with Carrick. Carrick, I think, as a manager, I think he's actually really interesting because I think he's really smart. And the reason I say that is he doesn't necessarily have a particular scheme of like a unique scheme.
Sure.
And I think why that's important is because of something I heard about with a critique on Ruben Amorim when he came in, was that Ruben Amorim's style of play, you essentially, he said, needed incredibly intelligent, incredibly physical players.
Yeah. Rigid,
To
right?
be able, not necessarily rigid. No, I'd say more about like they have to be incredibly smart in working in a 3-4-3.
Okay.
So they have to be obviously technically very, very astute, physically top peak, but very intelligent footballers.
Sure.
So you're not necessarily, I guess what I'm trying to mean by that is they know the right spaces to take. They know when to do certain things at certain times, more so than they're just a bludgeon where they just know you can just do this. A player who just does one thing and just does it really well.
Sure.
Where that obviously that wouldn't happen in a place like Barcelona. You have to have that versatility.
Mm-hmm.
At United, we don't have that versatility. And so I think what's happening with Carrick is he's putting now people and he's giving them very clear roles that they can operate in. So
it's almost like simplifying what they have to do in the game.
Yes, he's able to simplify it. He's not asking players to necessarily do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
He's just making the game simpler. And I think what we've seen now is that these players appreciate that.
Yeah.
And they're making it simpler and they're feeling more set up and they're feeling better, able to succeed. And so maybe that's been what's been missing all along for United, but that's a different conversation. I'll go into the City game. Or the Derby. Derby could have gone, I think, either way, because especially what happened initially was there was a foul that Diogo Dalot committed. Should have been a red. We get lucky. And honestly, from then on out, we dominated the game without possession. So we, I think, achieved maybe 40% possession over the game. But we were definitely the more dangerous team throughout all of it. And that was amazing to see. Because even under some of Amorim's results, it had looked like we were holding down for dear life. Where this, like, it just felt so much calm and in control.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, 40% against a Guardiola-led team, I say that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's... I could be hyperbolizing that. I don't know if it's 40. It didn't seem like... Maybe... It didn't seem like it was just 30 or 20 because we just had more domination in terms of like how we were manipulating space, how we were getting to City. We were hitting them back on the counterattack.
It was actually 68 to 32%.
32. Okay, so yeah, different. 32, but it felt like 40. It felt like 50, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
It's one of those games. It was one of those games where yes, City had possession, but they really couldn't figure out what to do with us. because I think we just went very simple, 4 banks of 2, and just asked players to really dig in. What the unique thing I think that I like that Carrick has done is he's moved now Bruno Fernandes away from being a center midfielder and
Hmm.
having him be a second striker.
Yeah.
And the reason that's worked is that Cunha has also, while he's not starting, he is coming into play and he's still making an impact off the bench. So
Hmm.
that's very key. So I think those things that have changed have definitely dramatically changed United, because now we have Bruno operating where he did under Oli, where he is more of a second striker. And if he goes and kind of roams, he doesn't destroy your defensive structure, where he
Right.
could do that under Amorim
Yeah.
and under other teams that had him particularly be a 10, and the way that they pressed
Yeah.
revolved around him. So
Sure. Yeah, and
that's
I
been
feel like
amazing.
you mentioned that too when we talked about Amarim and some of his tactics and putting Bruno more of a true center mid kind of role. I remember you mentioning that in certain games how with his kind of roaming and trying to attack, it was destroying defensively
Hmm.
what you guys were doing and getting kind of caught out
Yeah.
on that defensive side.
Yeah. So I think so. Carrick has found a way. Now he has found a way at this point to make sure that Bruno still plays. All of our attackers get to play and rotate around, but it's not causing us like defensive frailties. So
Yeah.
all that to say, I was ecstatic after the City Derby. I was so incredibly happy, ready to celebrate. Arsenal comes in, maybe feeling a little bit less secure, but in the way that the game went down, I'm really proud of our team and how we showed up,
Hmm.
because we go down a goal. We're not playing poorly. We're not dominating, but we're not
Yeah.
playing poorly. Kind of a fluky little goal and how it goes in. But immediately how we responded back was not of, oh my God, here we go again, which would have happened under, I think, Amorim.
Hmm.
Not to blame it as him, but just the structure, the scheme, and like the feeling around the club.
Sure. Sure.
We didn't have that. So we come back with from a press. We get gifted a goal. Zubamendi, I don't know what the hell he's doing, passing it back to his center back
Yeah.
when knowing that Umbumo is kind of tracking him and pressing him. Gifted that goal, so we'll take that. But I don't know if it's a gifted goal when you're putting pressure on. It's one of those.
Yeah. Yep.
But the two other goals, for me, this is the best part of the game. It's so great when you take a little bit of hope away from your opponent. They come back, have a glimpse of hope, and then almost immediately you take it away.
Yep. Yep.
And the way you take it away is through incredible goals, because that's the first goal that Dorgu scored. My goodness, I jumped out of my seat when I saw this. I yelped, screamed. Someone I heard yelled "Bell on Dorgu." Shout out to my friend Eric, who said that in our chat, because it was the pinging around between him and Bruno, and for him to take it off his like hip, let it bounce, hit it with curve to curve away as it's rising.
Hmm.
So it has so much power, and it's curving and rising up, and then the way it ricochets around in the goal just makes it look like an absolute worldie. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean,
For that.
even the setup. So the way that he plays off of Bruno
Mm-hmm.
to give him the ball, find the space. Bruno kind of chips it up to himself, gets it back to Dorgu. Dorgu plays it, like you mentioned, off of his hip, getting himself into more space because the defender's crashing down on him to still get the
Mm-hmm.
quality of shot off that he did with the placement and the power.
Yeah.
Same.
It
Like
was,
I didn't yelp and scream, but I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah. And it's like, I
Yeah,
feel like you don't see those goals now. So much of it
as
seems to be
much.
more like, yeah, it's a cutback goal. It's on the ground. You don't see a screamer kind of happen. So it's so much more fun to see when someone
Yep.
can just lash it. Looks like they lash at it and it rockets in. Amazing.
Yep.
Go down another goal, courtesy, I want to say, of Set Piece FC. I think that was the goal
Yeah, that was the
came through.
corner.
It was the corner. Yeah, I honestly completely forgot about that goal because it didn't matter, because within 2 minutes, Cunha finds himself some space and hits a 30-yard curler
Yep.
using the defender. I was watching with my brother Joey. He was amazed at how he was able to use a defender, hit it around the defender who is in, if you're looking at the frame of his shot, out of frame from the goal, like to curl it around him.
Yep.
He would have to shoot it even further away from goal, but he gets enough spin on it to know that it just nestles in there. It was great. For me especially, it was interesting because I've seen Cunha do this multiple times, and he's hit those shots, and you're like you sometimes question doing it. I didn't, only because I know that's the kind of player he is, kind of doing that at some point it would come, hoping at some point it would come, and it did, and it came against a great team to get a win against. So yeah, it's just, oh man, euphoric, very euphoric to get that result. So,
and what did that do in the standings?
Oh, it brought us to fourth place. So we are in the top 4 places as of right now. So that, I know, I was thinking this was probably going to be your favorite part, is like you're going to be able to see United back in the top 4, which is good. I think I have really enjoyed this. I've gotten more hopeful watching United play now. It's really just going to be what happens against Fulham and what happens against the smaller teams, how we're going to perform.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key, because
yeah,
we can play, and we had played under Ruben Amorim against better opposition, bigger opposition, and we're able to eke out wins, and would perform, but it matters against those small teams. So got to wait and see, but hey, I'm enjoying being hopeful. I'm enjoying seeing us knock down our rivals. It's been so great. It's been so great. Much needed for it.
And that one lad is 3 wins, I should say, away from being able to finally cut his hair.
Yeah, he's not even 50% of the way there, but he's close. He's close. Yes. He's 40%. So, yes, almost there. But anyway, so vibes are good here. Paul, let's run through the rest of the league, starting with the Bundesliga.
Yeah, so Bayern ended up losing their first Bundesliga game of the season, Andy, 2-1 to Augsburg. Dortmund beat Union Berlin 3-0, and Hoffenheim beat Frankfurt 3-1. So Dortmund makes up a little bit of ground. Bayern's still in first with 50, Dortmund behind with 42. Hoffenheim has jumped up to third place with 36, and then RB Leipzig is in fourth with 36. So,
wow. Interesting seeing Leipzig tottering a little bit. I'm not sure if that's because they have a game in hand or something, but
and Hoffenheim kind of rising too. So I think it's crazy to think that Bayern finally lose a game and they're still up by 8 points.
Yep,
it's just wild.
They're that dominant. Well, it's all about the Champions League for them. So they better find a way to win the Champions League. That's all I'm going to say. Or Barcelona. Just, I can't have Arsenal win the Champions League. So we'll see. But anyway, moving to La Liga, Paul.
Yep. So La Liga wise, Real Madrid has been doing better. 2 wins now. They beat Villarreal, I should say, 2-0. But Andy, Copa del Rey. So this game happened 3 days after the Supercopa final. Real Madrid is playing Albacete, which is, I think they're ranked 17th in a relegation battle in the second division of Spain. Albacete, because of their relegation battle, sit 7 of their starters.
Whoa.
And this was the game after Xabi Alonso had been fired. Albacete comes out and beats Real Madrid 3-2.
No way. No way.
Absolute scenes. And it was in the 90 plus 4th minute. Gonzalo Garcia scored to tie the game in the 90 plus 1st minute. And you're talking about stealing hope right after. Yeah, 90 plus 4th minute. This guy, super sub, the superest of super subs, Jefté Betancor, comes on and scores 2 goals. He scored the go-ahead and then the game winner.
Good for him. Good for him. Love that. So
absolute scene. So now Real Madrid is out. They lost the Supercopa final. They're out of the Copa del Rey way earlier than expected. They're sitting behind Barcelona's second place in the league. And Champions League, they're going to make the knockout stages, but they've lost 2 of the 4 title chances already, and it's January.
Yep, they're already out of their competition, so it's looking like the only way. Yeah, slimmer pickings for them. Pickings.
Yep. So
good.
Villarreal, because of their loss to Real Madrid, they've slipped. Atletico Madrid ended up mashing Mallorca 3-0. So what that means for the standings is Barcelona is in first with 52 points, Real Madrid second with 51, Atletico Madrid distant third with 44. Villarreal still has that game in hand, but they're sitting on 41 points.
Yeah. Woof. Dang. I was hoping Villarreal could make a little charge up the table for that, but hey, we'll see. Keeping the pressure on. Honestly, Real Madrid is honestly probably the biggest opponent for themselves, just to beat over them. So, well, we'll see. It's getting tight over in La Liga. Heading over to Italy, Paul. I think the big thing to take notice of is a Juve drubbing of Napoli 3-0. That I think really shakes things up in the table, only because that really puts Napoli behind in trying to go for the title to repeat the Scudetto. So what that means is Inter have 52 after a 1-1 draw this recent week. Milan are at 47, Roma at 43, and Napoli at 43 as well, but they have a worse goal differential. So Napoli is really kind of concerning me because I really want them to advance in the Champions League, but they have to win, I think, against Chelsea to beat. Or no, they have to win and Chelsea have to, I think, draw in order to get into the next stage of the Champions League. But I don't know, fingers crossed there. Anyway, heading then into Serie C, Cosenza have had a little bit of a slip up. They're leaking goals. They had a draw and 2-0 losses. So all of a sudden the goals are drying up and the defense is opening. Well, no, I guess I can't say that. I don't think we've had an amazing defensive record, but all of a sudden the goals are drying up. So need to switch that around to charge up the table and try to avoid a playoff. But we'll see how that goes. Heading back into the Premier League, Paul, we'll stick with the Premier League and not go into the FA Cup too much. But what I'll say is that City were able to beat Wolves and capitalize on Arsenal dropping points to none other than Manchester United. Aston Villa stayed the course and they beat Newcastle 2-0 as well.
Did you see Emi Martinez's save in that game?
I didn't, man.
Oh my gosh, dude. So this, I don't remember who it was from Newcastle, but he chops the ball from his right foot to his left foot, leaves the Aston Villa defender in the dust, and hits it back across the goal. And as Emi Martinez is falling to his right, he sticks his left foot out behind him and barely gets a piece of the ball.
Wow.
To make this absolutely incredible save where it was basically one-on-one with the keeper.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
Just enough. When a goalkeeper can make a save that's just enough, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. So, yeah, just bringing back the good vibes of soccer over. Anyway, one thing I do have to mention too is if you're wondering where Liverpool is in all this, well, they're not in the top 4. They lose late to Bournemouth. I think there's a lot that's happening. Again, I think we've talked a lot about that with Liverpool, but I think it really starts with their defense. They need to figure out how to shut down shop and get confident in shutting down shop again. Because what that means in the table is Arsenal at 50 points, City at 46, Aston Villa at 46, and United at 38. Paul, what's the Champions League looking like?
Top 4.
I feel it's like the first time I've seen it in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Man, I would have killed for that 2 years ago. Yeah. A season ago, I would have killed for that. Languishing in 15th. But hey, crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard the news. I saw something. I don't know if it's actually true, but I saw something that there are rumors that Arne Slot is going to be out at the end of the year as Liverpool manager.
Could be. I don't necessarily know if he should be out a year after winning the league. I think that'd be harsh. But I think that'd be harsh on him.
You know how things work in modern day sports.
It does. I think because with Liverpool and with Jurgen Klopp and how they dealt with Jurgen Klopp, I don't think they're going to be that rash. Liverpool usually don't make really rash decisions.
Yeah.
As a footballing entity, at least in recent times. So I would be very surprised,
Yeah.
but I think it's more of honestly, I think it's a more of a dipping in Mo Salah form. I think Mo Salah is like losing a little bit of his step. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing, as well as Virgil van Dijk. They're losing a little bit of their step, but they won't admit it.
Sure.
But I think if Arne Slot is worth his, if he is a good manager or if he is a smart manager like Ferguson was, he'd probably notice that and be like, I need to get rid of these guys.
Yep.
I think Fergie would have anticipated this before,
Yeah. 100%.
but
100%.
I don't know. So
Yep.
anyway, we'll take that. Champions League, Paul, what do we got?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to go through all the results. I think the biggest kind of upset that happened since we last chatted was Bodo Glimt ended up mashing Manchester City 3-1, which is wild to think about. That City fell to this team who I have never even heard of.
Yeah. Hey, I think United did too. We lost a game to them. Ended up, I think, winning in the second game. But hey, they're a solid bunch. They're a solid bunch.
Yeah.
They stick with each other. So that's how you win games.
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to kind of go through standings real quick, talking about not necessarily all the teams, but just kind of talk about the teams that have a chance to qualify for the bye and to the teams qualifying to get into the knockout stages. So, 6 through 13 is really hotly contested, just based on they're all on 13 points and goal differential. PSG, Newcastle both have 10, Chelsea have 6, Barca have 5, Sporting have 5, Man City has 4, Atletico Madrid has 3, Atalanta has 1. So all those teams they're even on points, but goal differential is going to be the big decider. So Barcelona luckily is going to be going up against a little bit weaker side in FC Copenhagen, but Copenhagen is actually playing to get into the knockout stages, Andy, because the bottom spots to get into the knockout stages are five teams, I think, tied for 8 points between PSV, Athletic Club, Olympiacos, Napoli, and FC Copenhagen. And it's all just based on goal differential for those. So, FC Copenhagen is going to play hard for trying to get into the knockout stages. Barcelona is going to try to win and then score a ton of goals to try to help their goal differential, because with their goal differential, I think they're only behind Chelsea by 1 goal. So, it really just depends on that. And, these matches are all going to be played tomorrow at 1:00. I don't remember what time zone that is, but in Europe. So it's going to be pandemonium, and we're going to see if Barcelona can do it. But it's exciting. This is always, that last day of qualifying is always exciting to see who's gonna rise, who's gonna fall, and who's gonna kind of be where they need to be and who comes up short.
Yeah, big exciting jeopardy with so many games to watch to see what happens. It's exactly what UEFA wants, and they get what they want, at least at this point.
Yeah.
So we head into to talk about the January transfer window if you want. There's not much happening on the United's end here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we talked about Joao Cancelo. I actually, since I did my notes, Ter Stegen's out of Barcelona.
Oh, finally.
I think he's just loaned though. I don't think he was actually sold or dropped. He's playing for Girona. Which I actually only saw because he had a big save over the weekend to save a point for Girona. And he did not look happy playing in that game, man. But I think it's finally get some wages off the book, get a little bit of that loan fee for Barcelona. I mean, he wasn't going to play this year. So Joan Garcia has been amazing. But glad to see that he can play football somewhere else. And Dro, so the 18-year-old phenom who Barcelona was really liking, was trying to get him signed to a longer-term deal in this January transfer window. And he has been unhappy that he hasn't been getting playing time. But, I mean, he's competing with the likes of Fermin Lopez, Dani Olmo, for that kind of attacking mid-role. For the winger position, he's going up against Lamine Yamal and Rooney Bargi, who have both been playing great. So I don't know what he's looking for. He's only 18. But he's been upset. Looks like he's going to sign with PSG, and Hansi was pissed. Was pissed because Barcelona was trying to extend his contract, and he basically went behind Barcelona's back and is like, I'm not gonna sign, or I'm not gonna extend it. I want out. I want somebody to come buy out my clause and go somewhere else. So it looks like it's gonna be
Wow.
PSG. Hansi was so upset he banned Dro from all Barcelona training facilities.
Yeah.
But good on
Bomb squatted him. Yeah, bomb
yeah,
squatted him.
but good on Barcelona. Some of his teammates and the captains went to Hansi and was like, "Hey, we know you're upset, but we can't just like shut this kid out. We can't just completely shut him out." So Hansi ended up rescinding that, letting him use some of the facilities again. So I think that just kind of shows though how tightly knit this team is. Where obviously the manager, like, I don't hate his reaction. I get where he's coming from, and that's very much within his right to do that, right? But for the captains and some of the other teammates to go, "Hey, we get it. You're upset. We're upset too, but we can't do that to this kid. We can't just dox him.
Yeah.
We can't just axe him out of this. Let's be smart about this." And for that is, I think it's cool. I think it shows kind of where we're at as a club and shows maturity from everybody. And another thing, since we last talked, Ronald Araujo is back. Ronald Araujo is playing again. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty happy. Really cool to see him because he's like the main captain, like the number one. Seeing him going up to get his medal and get the trophy to celebrate with the team. There was a really nice moment between him and Joan Laporta, the president of Barcelona, where they just kind of like hugged and had a really private kind of quick conversation between the two of them. It was really, really nice to see, especially with him with the mental health issues that he had. So, it's interesting. Barcelona had some players out. I heard rumors that Barcelona signed 5 really young players between like 16 and 18 years old. To play for either Barcelona B or to be kind of reserves for the first team. Just some really big up and comers, kind of getting them for on the cheap, which I'm really excited about because Barcelona has been very good at developing talent, taking these younger guys and developing them into great players. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like, and we'll see how Joao Cancelo pans out as well. So.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of time for him to get bedded in for that.
Yeah,
but that's all here said and done as we near the end of the month of January, and as we near the end of this podcast, we have our super subs and super duds. Paul, who are your super subs and super duds?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Super sub, I got a couple. Joao Cancelo came in the Real Sociedad game, him and Rashford actually, and Cancelo crossed the ball to Rashford at a really nice header to tie the game, which I thought we were going to salvage a point from it. Didn't end up working out, but that was really good to see. But I also got to go with Jefté Betancor for Albacete for winning the game against Real Madrid. I mean, that was just unreal. And then super dud, I'm just gonna go Barcelona overall performances looking lazy and just kind of hungover since the El Clasico win, and Joao Cancelo's effort in his first start against Oviedo, just leaving so much to be desired, lacking so much effort and defensively is just not good. So we got to clean that up. So a rare super sub and super dud for Joao Cancelo.
Yeah, rare to have them both as super sub and super dud, but it's what happens when we have a lengthy break in the podcast. For myself, I'll start with super dud because I think this was really interesting in Mikel Arteta. I think how he managed the game in terms of the subs that he brought on to make it more of a match was interesting because he did not bring on Martinelli, and Martinelli would be a starter, I think, in this team and has been a starter in this team, but for some reason he was left on the bench, and don't necessarily know why, because as someone who had that much threat, he could easily get at Delo, just putting it there. So super dud on that for him, but hey, I'm not going to be complaining about that. My super sub will be to Matheus Cunha. There's been some talk about Matheus Cunha not really showing up in the previous games, and there was those question marks being asked. And he's answered those question marks with some emphatic goals and some really incredible performances. Unfortunately, Patrick Dorgu, Balan Dorgu, Dorgy Best, as some are now calling him, he has a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for 10 weeks.
Oh wow.
So that leaves, yeah, which really sucks because he's finally coming into his own
Yeah.
on the left wing and showing his talent there. So you just hope that doesn't like derail the rest of his United career, but it leaves the door open for Cunha. So this is Cunha's chance to make his more of his name here at United. So I think that's it, Paul. Anything else we wanted to chat on for this, or else we can wrap this up for a podcast?
No, I think we're good soccer wise. I did want to give a quick shout out. I got a couple of friends, two young listeners, Leo and Liam brothers, who had the chance to talk some soccer. It was a really great time. I wish we could have had more time to chat about it, but shout out to them, new fans of the podcast.
Awesome. We love having more fans in the podcast, especially because if that's two of them, that will probably increase our viewership and listenership, probably somewhere around like 20 to 50% going up.
Yes.
So we'll absolutely take that.
Yes.
And welcome friends to the podcast there. So with that, we're going to wrap it up on this longer episode of the podcast to get through all 3 weeks that we had been gone. But with that, I'm going to wish you all a big old bye. I have to do it the usual way of saying I have been Andy, Paul has been Paul, and wishing you a big old bye.
Bye.